guys, welcome back to my channel. For today we're going to make something that is particularly nostalgic for me, and that is Swiss rolls. When my sisters and I were in primary school, my dad used to buy Swiss rolls for us to carry for break from Langata Uchumi Hyper. Today I'm going to take this childhood favorite of mine, put my own twist to it, and we're going to make something really delicious. Buckle up. This is going to be super speedy, kama kawaida, very delicious, and kama kawaida pia, something that you too can make at home. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your loyalty, and for my new watchers, I hope after this video I earn your subscription. That said, let's begin. Karibuni sana. As you can see, I have already separated my ingredients according to the stage at which they will be introduced into this recipe. And for the first ingredients that we are going to work on, number 1, some ordinary sugar, and number 2, some egg whites. You will need 4 eggs for this recipe, and for those 4 eggs at room temperature, you need to separate the egg white and the egg yolk. The yolk will come a bit later, but for the egg whites really give anything they are cooked in some lift and some rise. For this recipe, we need to hone in on that exact quality. That's why we separate the yolk from the white. That said, we're going to add our sugar into a bowl, followed by our egg whites. And then we're going to proceed to whisk this until it's very light and billowy. It has to look like a cloud. For that to happen, the whisking will take about 5 minutes. It's quite a long time, but guys, please, you have to whisk until it's light and billowy and fluffy like a cloud. Tuanze. This looks very beautiful, and I'm so excited about how this will turn out at the end. We're just past the 5-minute mark, and as you can see, my egg whites and ordinary sugar has turned into the fluffiest, billowiest, newest thing in the kitchen, and you too should make sure yours looks like this. If yours is not yet fluffy and billowy as mine is, ipate muda kidogo. It has to look like this. It has to be light and fluffy so that your Swiss roll cake at the end is also light and fluffy. Now that this is done, we're going to go in with another set of ingredients. Grab another bowl, and that is my brown sugar and my egg yolk. We already spoke about why we're using egg whites in separation from the egg yolk, and now we're going to talk about the egg yolk. We use the egg yolk because it's very, very rich, and we use brown sugar because it's also sticky and rich. You pair these two ingredients together, and because they have the richness in common, that same quality will blend into the Swiss roll cake, and it will become rich and nice and soft at the end as well. So now we're going to add our egg yolks, followed by our brown sugar, and then we're going to whisk these two together until smooth and silky. Whisking this won't take as long as the egg whites and ordinary sugar took, just a couple of minutes, and it will be nice and silky, as you can see mine is. Now that this is done, we're going to set that aside together with the complete set of ingredients that we prior did. Then we grab yet another bowl together with a kichungi ngoja. Together with the kichungi, and then go right in with our dry ingredients. Since we are making a Swiss roll cake, the first ingredient obviously has to be some all-purpose flour. And then for even more lift, we're going to go in with some baking powder and a bit of salt, some cocoa, and then some coffee. Let's add all of them in now. Sieving your ingredients just ensures that they combine with a lot more ease and with a lot more uniformity, but you can just combine them with your mwiko. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but if you can sieve them, even better. As you have figured out by now, you know I'm making a chocolate Swiss roll. I don't love chocolate anything, but since I'm making it myself, I'm in control of the quantities, and it will be quite delicious if I do say so myself. And some of you may be wondering, why are you adding coffee yet we're making a chocolate Swiss roll? When you're making chocolate anything, coffee is a very important ingredient because it tempers the sweetness and it also emboldens the sweet nature of chocolate without making it cloyingly and overwhelmingly sweet. Chocolate can be very overwhelming, but if you add just a dash of coffee, it balances out. It will not be bitter at all. In fact, you won't even taste the coffee, but because it will make the chocolate a lot more mellow and rounded, it will make it a lot more delicious and palatable to have. Now we are done with our dry ingredients and everything is ready and set to go. So the next step is just about combination. As you can recall, we have our billowy, fluffy, cloudy egg whites and sugar. We have our silky, sexy, smooth brown sugar and egg yolk. We have our dusty dry ingredients, and now we're going to go in with the two final ingredients. First, tunamaliza. And that is some molten butter, and for some aroma, some vanilla extract. Our butter is now very smooth and silky, and this is going to be a very delicious Swiss roll cake. I can just tell from the butter. I like using molten butter as opposed to solid butter because I found that solid butter makes the cake a lot more creamy, and I want it nice and soft. I also prefer butter as opposed to oil because oil has a tendency to weigh down the cake, and we want it nice and fluffy. So always go for molten butter. Now that this is done and it's nice and silky as it should be, inaka vizuri, si ndio? Na it smells so good as well. Ebu nusa. It smells so good as well. Now that this is done, we're going to grab our baking tray. Okay, madabo. We're going to grab our baking tray, and as you can see, it's a very thin baking tray, and it's the one that you must have for a Swiss roll. Mine is 12 by 17 inches and I think half a centimeter thick. About 2 centimeters thick, and this is the one you need to use for a Swiss roll. I bought mine from Carrefour, but you can get some from Tusky's as well. ShopRite has some too, or from any other shop that has baking items. Mine is greased, and then on top of the greased pan itself, I have also lined a baking sheet. A baking sheet you can also get from the supermarket I have already mentioned. A roll of 5 meters costs 210 shillings, and a roll of 10 meters costs 450 shillings. Either way, it's still quite affordable and quite accessible to anyone and everyone watching this video. That said, we're now going to proceed to the final step, and that simply involves pouring our butter onto our lined baking tray and then wiggling it until it's evenly spread out. Our cake is now in, and as you can see on my countertop, I have rolled out another fresh baking sheet, and on it I have dusted a bit of cocoa powder. Reason being, immediately after our cake is done, we're going to take it out of the oven and flip it over this dusted baking sheet and then roll it and then place it in our fridge to cool down. The reason why we roll our Swiss roll while it's still warm is so that it doesn't crack, and also once we open it to add our whipped cream filling, it will still retain its rolled shape, kind of like muscle memory, but that's in essence why we have to roll it while it's still warm. I will not have time to talk you through while I do that, so you'll just have to watch and see, but I hope vilomeskia umeelewa. You just take it out of the oven while it's still warm, flip it over, then roll it as fast as you can so that it can cool in its rolled down state. That said, Let's wait for our cake to bake and then see you on the other side. Okay guys, it's been about an hour now. My Swiss roll has completely cooled down, and it should cool down in this exact log shape. It should also cool down completely because we're going to put in it a whipped cream filling, and if it's a bit hot, the filling will melt, and we don't want that. We want the filling to remain nice and firm, nice and sturdy, so that you can enjoy it. Kwa macho na kwa ulimi pia. We're going to set this aside, and I've already told you I've made a whipped cream filling. I made these Swiss rolls in February this year, but it got lost when my hard drive decided to crash. When I made the whipped cream filling in February, it was just whipped cream, vanilla extract, and a bit of granulated sugar. But today I've added a bit of rum just for some complexity and some character to my Swiss rolls. You can make this filling without the rum, it will still be perfectly fine. But if you want your Swiss rolls to have a bit of oomph, a bit of character, a bit of personality, add a bit of rum. If you don't have rum, some cream liqueur, Baileys or Amarula would be perfect for this as well. When you're making a whipped cream filling, be careful not to over whip because it will just turn into a disaster. I have made that mistake before. Please don't be like Kaluhi in the past. So just whip it. Once it forms this nice soft stiff peaks, you're ready to go. Pretty easy to make. Here's how I made mine. To my bowl, I added my whipped cream, my granulated sugar, vanilla extract, and a tablespoon of rum. I proceeded to whisk this for about 5 minutes until my whipped cream became fluffy and formed stiff peaks. The Swiss rolls we used to carry for break when we were in primary school had maybe a jam filling or a coconut filling, but today I just personally find that a whipped cream filling will really complement the flavor of the chocolate Swiss roll and cancel out what would otherwise be an overwhelming taste of chocolate. Kiingereza inapotea. Anyway, now that that is clear, we're now going to proceed. Open our Swiss roll, put the filling, roll it back, and then slice it into our Swiss roll. Then I'm going to see you on the other side for tasting and conclusion. Guys, we're now done, and as you can see, making Swiss rolls at home is pretty easy, and if I'm honest, it's a labor of love because sometimes honestly it can be quite challenging, but with my recipe and my YouTube video and my blog post, it will be an easy guide. These look amazing, and now I'm going to set this aside. Grab this other plate, hii ilivunjika kidogo, so just ignore that, and give this a taste. Just look vile fork inaingia, so soft, so creamy, so delicious. Guys, let me not lie, each one of you has to try this out. The chocolate is nice and full rounded, not overwhelmingly sweet, and the creaminess of the whipped cream filling just complements that flavor. The mild booziness of the rum adds a bit of complexity. This is a treat you're 100% going to enjoy. If you're making this with kids, remember you can remove the rum, but 100% they too deserve to have something delicious in their tummies. Don't forget, kama kawaida, the exact recipe quantities are on my blog, link on the description box. Try this out. Snap 1,000 million killion pictures. Tag me on any social media platform. I would love to show you off. For me, it's now time to go and have my afternoon snack. For you, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye guys.